Hello and welcome back to another one of Paul's Beer Reviews. Hope you're all doing well. I've got an ale to review for you from Neame. A brewery I've not had anything from a long time. This is a bottle of their 1698 Kentish strong ale coming in at 6.5% ABV. I picked this particular bottle up in Tesco. Cost me about $1.80. It was also in their £4 for £6 deal that most of the supermarkets do now. From Faversham in Kent, Neame. This is their bottle conditioned 1698 strong ale, 6.5%, thrice hopped and bottled at the brewery. It says it's also a bottle conditioned ale. So 500ml bottle. There's a bit of spiel on the back. It says 1698 bottle conditioned Kentish strong ale is a living product which continues to ferment in the bottle. This creates a natural sediment just like real ale as it ferments in a cask at the pub. Only local hops, malted barley, glucose syrup and water drawn from our artisan well are used to brew 1698 bottle conditioned Kentish strong ale. Hops are added 3 times, hence it is thrice hopped. I get it. It says it should be auburn on the eye, roasted fruits and hoppy notes on the aroma, and it should be rich, fruity and warming on the palate. We'll find out, shall we? Let's get this strong Kentish ale out of its bottle into the glass. Like I say, I've not had many Neame beers. I've had beers brewed by Neame for other people, other brewers. I know they brew some of the Lidl stuff, some of their Hatherwood range. I know Neame brew some of that. It's got a really fruity aroma, I'll tell you that now. I'm not going to lie, that's really underwhelming on the eye. Colour-wise, it's lovely, but I mean, the head has disappeared on that straight away. Plenty of carbonation on it, though. Get the light behind it. That's what you can make that out. Carbonation rising up the glass. It's the beer is so dark, it's hard. It looks flat as a pancake. There's no head on that whatsoever. But there is a gentle rush of carbonation rising up the middle of the glass. That head has just dissipated completely, which is a bit worrying. It's a lovely colour. It's a lovely ruby red, dark auburn chestnut colour looking beer. No mistake about that. Yeah, I'm a little bit worried. I mean, that looks flat. It just looks like a glass of dirty water at this stage. Let's get me snouting, see what the aroma's telling us. The aroma's quite nice. Dark fruits, a little bit of spice there as well. Definitely a little bit of plum, bit of fig. Blackberry, black currants, dark fruits. Bit of sweet toffee. Yeah, it's a very sweet and malty smelling beer, this one. There was no sediment to speak of whatsoever on the pour for that. There's nothing floating around in there. Yeah, I'm a little bit skeptical about this one. I'm gonna get stuck in though, but cheers anyway. Whoa, it's proper fruity. Proper fruity. Nice bitter finish. Okay. It's really well carbonated. It's funny, isn't it? You pour a beer, there's no head on it whatsoever, and you kind of think, God, it looks flat as a pancake. Just obviously didn't want to develop a head, this particular one, but there's plenty of carbonation on the palate. Quite a bit, in fact. The mouthfeel is very thin. But for a bottle conditioned ale, I just expected a little bit more. Particularly on the body. It's really thin, nice watery. What's the date on this? Looking for a date. Can't find a date. Oh, here we go. There's a date here. Something 2022. I can't make that out. Next year, either way. But so I only picked up in Tesco a couple of weeks ago. There's a lingering bitterness to it. There's a lingering sweetness to it as well. Just remember there's glucose syrup. It reminds me a little bit this reminds me a little bit of one of them overly sweet, overly strong lagers, like your Tennant Super or your Carlsberg, what's the Carlsberg one called? The horrible one, the gold can. Kestrel, it reminds me of those. It looks like one of those as well. Like a silly strong lager. It's a bit too sweet. And there's a slight acidic, metallic taste to it as well. Dear, oh dear. At first I thought this was all right. And the more I'm drinking it now, the more it's developing. It's just starting to become a little bit unpleasant for me. It's sickly sweet now. It's really, really fruity. There's a considerable amount of glucose syrup gone into this. It states it on the bottle like they're proud of it, which is always a bit worrying. I mean, it's one thing having it in the ingredients, but the fact they actually had it in their description. Only local hops, malted barley, glucose syrup and water drawn from our artisan well. Oh, you should never be proud of the fact that you've added glucose syrup to your beer. It's too sweet. There's a bit of dark fruit, there's a bit of blackberry, but it's sickly sweet. It's water thin, and the back end on it is it's quite pleasant actually. The finish to the beer is the best bit. Strange carbonation is kind of like a soft drink carbonation level. Like you've had a can of Pepsi and you've had it out of the fridge and you opened it up and forgot it and left it sitting there for about an hour. You know, that's kind of what it reminds me of. Yeah, but the back end to it, there's a nice bit of hoppy bitterness at the back end to it, which isn't particularly horrible. So the aftertaste on the beer is probably the best part of this beer, because what becomes before that is, to be honest, a bit crap. Yeah, it's too sweet, it's too thin. It says it's a 6.5% bottle conditioned ale. I mean, I'm trying to give it a whirl, trying to wake her up a little bit. And within seconds, that's just gone again. Doesn't want to know. This is poor. This is poor. It's not a good ale. It's not a good ale at all. I can only hope that this on cask is a completely different animal, because that is shocking. A bottle condition. It says it all over the bottle. Bottle conditioned. Triple hops. 1698. Kentish strong ale. That's just cheap piss, basically. Yeah, gutted with that. Beautifully presented. Love the label. I love the story they told on the back of it and all that. Ticks a few boxes, but yeah, the beer itself is yeah, that's pretty bad. That's pretty bad, unfortunately. Yeah, disappointing, but you can't win them all. Shepherd Neame 1698. They're a Kentish strong ale. Certainly wouldn't buy it again. I'd be interested to see what it's like on cask. I would hope that maybe some of that sweetness might be a little bit dubbed down, and it just needs a bit of body as well. A bit of body would probably help dub down that sweetness. But as it is, this is just a very, very sweet mess of a beer. So there you go. I'm going to give it I like the finish. I like the bitterness on the back end, which just about kind of makes it not a complete abomination. And because of that, I'm going to give it a 3 out of 10. So a 3 out of 10 for Shepherd Neame 1698. Their Kentish Strong Ale, 6.5% bottle conditioned. Rubbish. 3 out of 10 for me. I hope you've enjoyed the review. Give it a thumbs up if you have. Until my next one, you take care.